terrible thing, and George Bush fired him. He said that the war in Iraq would cost $200 billion. Now, he should have been fired for underestimating it by someone. But he was in fact fired because he dared to suggest that it was going to cost 3 times as much as Dick Cheney had said it would. I'm very proud of the fact that he said I was one of the few politicians who was consistently saying helping very low-income people get mortgages is a bad idea, because putting people in a situation where they get mortgages that they cannot pay off and homes that they cannot manage is not a good thing. And one of the big fights I've had with this administration was, how do you help low-income people get homes? I believe that for many people, decent rental housing is the right way to go, as opposed to home ownership. I had an argument with a man named Alfonso Jackson, who was Secretary of HUD under George Bush. And he said, you know about the Section 8 voucher program where you get rental assistance. He said, I'm going to cut people off Section 8 after 5 years. I was the senior Democrat, I was in the minority, and he said, will you support that? I said, no. He said, why? I said, well, what happens to people after 5 years? I mean, actually, he said, would you support cutting people off rental assistance for the poor after 5 years? And I said, yes, if you'll support them not being poor after 5 years. But I said, well, Mr. Secretary, here's the problem. What will happen to these people, these families, after 5 years if they lose the rental assistance? And he said, we will help them become homeowners. That was the problem. And look, Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac's role was out there. The problem with Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac came, and I thought they were playing a useful role, and then in 2004, under Secretary Jackson, the Bush administration ordered Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac to increase the number of mortgages they bought from people below the median income. And I went back. People said, well, how did all this happen? I found this quote for myself. I didn't remember saying it. I knew I had this interview in which I said that was a terrible mistake. It was bad for Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, and it was bad for these people. Now, part of the problem was that Greenspan had refused to stop the bad loans from being made. In 2004, and there's a very useful book I recommend if people want to go further into this. I'm going to finish this up in a few minutes and go to the questions. A man named Mark Zandi, Z-A-N-D-I, who was an economic advisor to John McCain. By the way, I will say, John McCain, that his first choice for Secretary of Treasury was going to be Senator Phil Gramm. Who was the great deregulator, who then said we were all whining about the economy, so he got rid of him. And the next guy who clearly was going to be John McCain's Secretary of Treasury was a man named John Thain, who you may have read about, the head of Merrill Lynch, who gave those bonuses in advance of the sheriff showing up. But Mark Zandi was an economic advisor to John McCain. He's been a very bipartisan guy. And he writes in his book, in 2004, the Bush administration decided that it was going to greatly increase home ownership. This was going to be their social contribution. And when they did that, we became worried. And in 2004 and 2005, a group of us in the House, mostly Democrats, but one Republican, frustrated by Alan Greenspan's refusal to use the authority we gave him, which was discretionary, tried to pass a law to prevent these excessive subprime mortgages from being granted. And we were in the midst of negotiations, and Tom DeLay sent word to the chairman of the committee that I served on as a minority member, stop it. We're Republicans. We don't do that. In 2007, when the Democrats won the majority and I became chairman of the committee, we did settle things. We passed a bill, by the way, to regulate Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, which the Republicans never did. And I know people said, what was I doing about Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac? Let me address this one head on. The Republicans were in control of Congress from 1995 through 2006. Their argument is that I stopped them from regulating Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac. Let me tell you this. If I could have stopped first Newt Gingrich and then Tom DeLay from doing something, there would not have been an impeachment of Bill Clinton. There wouldn't have been a war in Iraq. There wouldn't have been big tax cuts for very wealthy people. We wouldn't have tried to interfere in the Terry Schiavo case. I mean, the list of things I would have done would have been pretty long, that I would have kept them from doing. But in fact, in 2007, when the Democrats came to power, we passed that bill in the House to stop the bad subprime loans. Unfortunately, the Senate was only 51-49, and it was very difficult to do that. I was on Face the Nation Sunday, and Senator Shelby at one point was critical, Republican, who was the chairman of the Banking Committee during that time in the Senate. He was critical of Secretary Geithner. He said he wasted the Senate's time for 4 hours. I said, being accused of wasting the time in the Senate is like being accused of making it cold in Alaska. Breakneck pace to do anything themselves. But we did try to stop these. By then it was too late. So just to summarize, we had a refusal by the conservatives to regulate the granting of subprime mortgages. And we then had a refusal by the conservatives to let us regulate the financial instruments which packaged up those subprime mortgages and sold them all over the world. We're now in a difficult situation that we hope to get out of. I do believe that the economic recovery plan will be helpful. What President Obama did yesterday will be helpful. His next step, the tougher one, is to how do you get the banks back in the lending business? We have this dilemma, by the way, let me say. I understand people's anger at the banks. You know, we have a phrase called collateral damage. It's a kind of an antiseptic phrase for a terrible phenomenon. The phenomenon is that you try to kill bad people and innocent people get killed. It's happening in Afghanistan, but it happened in Germany. Innocent Germans, innocent Japanese died when we defeated the Japanese aggressors. I don't think that was avoidable, but you try to minimize it, and we call it collateral damage. It sort of makes it less troubling maybe than it is. We have the opposite problem with the banking system. We have collateral benefit. There are people who made great mistakes, and in a few cases were even worse than mistakes in the banking system. The problem is that we need to get credit flowing again for our economy to work. And to do that, we have to do some things which will be of some benefit to some of these people. That's the collateral benefit. We're trying to fix the system. They get the benefit. We are trying to minimize that and maximize the more general benefit. That is part of the problem that we are dealing with. We will have to get credit flowing again, work with the banks to help them, frankly, deal with the consequences of their own mistakes. What I hope we will be successful in doing is saying whatever we do, to the extent that this works and profitability returns, we will be repaid. One of the things that people didn't notice when we passed the $700 billion, 5 years when we passed it, which was last